If you've seen the Lego Batman movie, you'll know it includes not only super well-known villains like the Joker, but also an incredible range of other villains from the DC Comics Rogues Gallery. And scattered throughout the movie, there are also some cool voice cameos you might not have taken in. So in this video, I'm going to run through many of those villains and cameos for you. Quick warning, there are spoilers ahead, so if you're not ready for those, get out of Gotham by tapping or clicking here to watch my spoiler-free Lego Batman movie review. By the way, I'll have a great giveaway to win a pair of awesome Lego Batman movie books on my Lego Batman Easter egg video, so make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out. Okay, let's start with the villains that the Joker hires for his dastardly attack on the Gotham Energy facility at the beginning of the movie. The first celebrity cameo is by Conan O'Brien, who voices the Riddler, and he's joined by Scarecrow, who masquerades as a pizza delivery guy and is voiced by comic actor Jason Mantzoukas. Doug Benson voices Bane and does a good job sounding very similar to Tom Hardy's take on the character in The Dark Knight Rises. Classic Batman villain Two-Face is played by Billy D. Williams, who voiced his iconic Star Wars character Lando Calrissian in the first Lego movie, and he also played Harvey Dent in the 1989 Batman movie. In fact, Williams had hoped Harvey Dent would become Two-Face in the sequel Batman Returns, but the character was dropped from that movie, and when Two-Face did appear in Batman Forever, he was played by Tommy Lee Jones. Catwoman, who helps the villains hack into the system, is voiced by Zoe Kravitz, who starred in X-Men First Class and the Divergent series. Indeed, Kravitz actually has some shocking prior history with the Batman franchise, specifically The Dark Knight Rises, which she was informed she couldn't audition for a small part in because, to quote what she was told, they weren't going urban. The comedy folk duo Garfunkel and Oates each voice a villain in the movie, with Ricky Lindholm as Poison Ivy and Kate Micucci as Clayface. And rounding out the Joker's posse of major villains is Harley Quinn, voiced by Jenny Slate, who was also the voice of Bellwether in Zootopia and Gidget in The Secret Life of Pets. The Lego Batman movie also pays homage to an enormous stack of villains from Batman's Rogues Gallery. Some are more familiar, like Penguin, who turns up in a Lego version of his duck car that we saw in Batman Returns. There's also Killer Croc, who we saw last in the Suicide Squad movie, who exclaims, "I did something," when he switches on the bomb. And there's Mr. Freeze, who has a touch of Arnold Schwarzenegger from Batman and Robin about him when he says, "No, you freeze." Red Hood turns up in a blink and you'll miss him moment during a fight scene. The official LEGO site describes this Red Hood as a mysterious supervillain and adds that rumours suggest he may have a secret connection to Batman or one of his arch-villains. In the comics, Red Hood is an alias that has been used by different characters, two significant ones being the Joker and Jason Todd. The LEGO Jason Todd version of Red Hood has already appeared in the LEGO video games with a drastically different look to this Red Hood in the LEGO Batman movie. And the helmet, cape and bow tie worn by the Red Hood that appears in the LEGO Batman movie suggests that this is the Joker Red Hood rather than Jason Todd. In the comics, the Joker version of Red Hood was an alias that the Joker used for his criminal activities before he became the Joker. Other villains who appear on screen very briefly include Captain Boomerang, aka Digger, who gets kicked in the head by Batman in the movie. In the comics, he's a criminal who uses high-tech boomerangs, and we last saw him on the big screen played by Jai Courtney in the Suicide Squad movie. There's also Man-Bat, who first appeared in the comics in 1970 as Kirk Langstrom, a scientist who accidentally turned himself into a bat. Man-Bat hasn't appeared yet in a live-action Batman film, despite being considered for various cancelled Batman projects. The closest thing so far has been the bat creature that attacked Bruce Wayne during his nightmare in Batman v Superman. Perhaps one of the daftest villains in the Lego Batman movie, although frankly that's a tough call, is Condiment King. He first appeared in Batman the Animated Series and has often been used for comedic effect, with an emphasis on condiment-inspired puns. The character was later introduced into the comics under the name of Mitchell Mayo. King Tut is a Batman villain that was initially created for the 1960s Batman TV series and was later adapted into the comic books. King Tut, aka William McElroy, was an Egyptologist at Yale who transformed into a delusional villain when he lost his mind after being hit on the head during a student riot. Egghead, who turns up in the Lego Batman movie Egging the Bat Signal, is another villain who appeared in the 1960s Batman TV series where he was played by Vincent Price. Killer Moth first appeared in Batman issue 63, where he set himself up as the opposite of Batman, helping Gotham's criminal underworld. Killer Moth also had a fake identity as a rich guy called Cameron Van Cleer, and similar to Batman, he had a Mothmobile, as well as a moth signal that criminals used to call him. Kite Man, aka Charles Brown, in the comics is said to be partly inspired by the Peanuts character Charlie Brown, who struggled to fly a kite. Kite Man first appeared in 1960 in Batman issue 133, and as you can guess, he used kite-based weapons to fight Batman. Gentleman Ghost is a supernatural villain in the comics, who was created when the thief Jim Craddock was hanged by the gunslinger Nighthawk. Polka Dot Man is a Batman villain who, in the comics, can transform the coloured dots on his tricked-out costume into various weapons. Catman first appeared in Detective Comics in 1963 and modelled his look on a combo of Batman and Catwoman. March Harriet is based on the comic book villain Harriet Pratt, aka March Hare, who along with Tweedledum, Tweedledee and the Mad Hatter was part of the Wonderland Gang. The villainous Zebra Man has appeared in several different versions in the comics. In his first incarnation, he invented a machine that charged his body with energy, which gave him his powers and stripes. He also wore a special belt to control his body's powerful diamagnetic force. The Eraser is a villain whose costume includes a mask with a giant eraser on top. And, suitably enough, he hires himself out to criminals to erase evidence left at crime scenes. Orca is the scientist Dr. Grace Balin, who experimented with spinal cord regeneration after she was paralysed. She transformed into an orca-human hybrid after experimenting with orca tissue. The comic book version of Tarantula, who appears in the movie, is the former FBI agent Catalina Flores, who takes the law into her own hands to deal with corrupt police officers and criminals. Clock King is a foe of Green Arrow in the comics and used his clock and time-based skills to turn to crime as a way to support his sister when he was mistakenly diagnosed with a terminal illness. And Calendar Man is a date-obsessed villain whose crimes relate to specific dates and holidays. Now, the Lego Batman movie doesn't restrict itself to villains from DC Comics, TV shows, or movies. In fact, the Phantom Zone is home to a number of trapped non-DC villains. Comedian Eddie Izzard provides the voice of Voldemort, delivering some great lines like "Stop moving around, muggles," and he also uses the levitation charm Wingardium Leviosa several times in the movie. I wonder what Ralph Fiennes, who plays Alfred in this film and brought Voldemort to life in the Harry Potter movies, thought of Eddie Izzard's take on the character. Jermaine Clement, who you'll have heard recently as the rather shiny crab Tamatoa in Moana, delivers a comedic animated version of Sauron from The Lord of the Rings. The iconic ape King Kong also appears and is voiced by Seth Green. Ellie Kemper, who you might know as the unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, or as Erin from The Office, lends her voice to Phyllis, the brightly coloured brick who serves as a gatekeeper to the Phantom Zone. There's also a bunch of other cool villains, including Doctor Who's Daleks, a Velociraptor from Jurassic Park, Jaws, Medusa, the Gremlins, Dracula, Agent Smith from The Matrix, and the Wicked Witch of the West also makes an appearance with her flying monkeys. The hilarious Justice League anniversary party scene also brings back some characters and voices from the first Lego movie. Channing Tatum returns as the voice of Superman, and Jonah Hill and Adam Devine are back as Green Lantern and the Flash respectively. Other Justice League members at the party include Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, Martian Manhunter, who jokingly dubs himself Martian Dance Hunter, Green Arrow, Black Canary, Hawkman and Hawkgirl, the Wonder Twins and Gleek, Black Vulcan, Apache Chief El Dorado, and Wonder Dog. And in Gotham City, there are a few more celebrity cameos. Singer Mariah Carey is the voice of Myrna McCaskill. The retiring Commissioner Jim Gordon is played by Pretty Woman's Hector Elizondo. Chris Hardwick of Nerdist fame is one of the reporters quizzing Barbara Gordon after the Joker surrenders. And the Lego Batman movie director Chris McKay is Pilot Bill, who argues with the Joker about why Batman will foil his evil plans. Now, did you have a favourite cameo in the movie? And if there's a Lego Batman sequel, who would you like to see have more screen time? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this, I really appreciate if you hit the thumbs up button, share and subscribe. You can also tap or click here for more of my videos, including all the best Easter eggs from the Lego Batman movie. Thanks for watching and see you next time, yippee-ki-yay movie lovers!